everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys my TBR for the week of Reading Rush. So Reading Rush is a week-long readathon, and it actually starts tomorrow and it goes all the way till next Sunday the 26th. I participated every year ever since I started my BookTube channel. Before it was called the BookTubeathon. So I'm really excited. I love this readathon. I think it's fun because pretty sure it's like the most popular readathon on BookTube in the bookish community, and so a lot of people participate, and I think that's really cool. So there are several challenges for this readathon. I will not be participating in every single one, or I might be cheating a little with every single one, but let's go ahead and get started with the books that I chose to read this week. Alright, so the first challenge for the Reading Rush is to read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone. So I was born in September, so my birthstone is the sapphire, which is this beautiful dark blue, and so the book that I chose is Unsold by Neil Shusterman. This is the third book in the Unwind dystology. It is my favorite dystopian series. I've read the series many years ago, and this month I decided to reread it. This is actually part of my regular July TBR, and I decided to incorporate it into my Reading Rush as well, just because I think that the color does sort of match my birthstone color. I think this has a little bit more of a purplish tint to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and cheat a little. I'm very excited. I've already read the first two books, and I of course loved it because it's one of my favorite series, and so I can't wait to dive into it. Alright, and then the next challenge is to read a book that starts with the word "duh." Initially, I had a hard time finding a book that I haven't read that started with the word "duh," and then they started popping up everywhere. So it wasn't, honestly, at the end, it wasn't that hard to find a book that I haven't read that starts with the word "duh." And so the book that I chose is actually a poetry book. It is my first poetry book that I am reading by this author, and it is The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I have two of her books, and I've had this one for quite a while, and I haven't read it yet, and I'm pretty excited to read it. I figured this would be perfect to read during a readathon, because during a readathon you kind of just want to read as much as you can, and because this is a poetry book, poetry books tend to be faster to get through. So I'm very excited to dive into this book. If you have read anything by Amanda Lovelace, let me know how you felt about it. And then the next challenge is a challenge that I will actually be skipping, and it is the challenge of read a book inspired by a movie that you've already seen. And honestly, I couldn't come up with a book that I already had that inspired a movie that I already seen, because normally unless I don't care at all about reading the book, I do try to read the book first before watching the movie. And in this case, I don't know, I couldn't come up with any book that I haven't read yet that I've already seen the movie, so I'm skipping that challenge. As for the next challenge, and that is read the first book that you touch, I'm just gonna go ahead and take my Reading Rush TBR, and I'll just close my eyes, and whatever book I touch first, that's the one I'll read. So that's how I'm gonna treat this challenge. And then the next reading challenge is to read a book completely outside of your house. So obviously, because we are in a pandemic, and also because I live in Florida, I try not to venture out of my house unless it's something important, like having to go to work or something. So I will be cheating a little on this challenge. Obviously, the creators of the Reading Rush, they said that you can take liberties interpreting this challenge because we are in a pandemic. So what I will be doing, I will actually be reading in my dining room. My dining room is next to my big glass sliding door that leads to our backyard. So basically, I will be reading right next to that big glass sliding door, so that at least I can have the illusion that I'm reading outside. But the book that I will be reading for this challenge is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palpetro. This was also part of my July TBR, and I'm so eager to read this book, and I still haven't picked it up, so I am desperate to read this book, and so I will be picking it up for this challenge. And the next reading challenge is to read a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. I'm gonna read a graphic novel. I always mean to read graphic novels. It is something that I always want to venture out in, but I honestly never do, and so I am planning on reading a book that I actually recently received in my Outcrate box, and it is Witchy by Arios Slamet Reyes, and this is a fantasy graphic novel, and I'm super excited to read this book. I've heard great things about this graphic novel, and again, because we are doing a readathon, we want to read as much as we can. Figure graphic novels would be perfect to add my TBR because they are pretty easy to get through. And the final challenge is to read a book that takes place on a completely different continent than the one that you reside in. I live in the United States, so I live in North America, and honestly I'm gonna go ahead and cheat a little again, and the book that I chose is Also Witchy by Ariel Slamet Reyes. This is a fantasy novel and it takes place in a world that doesn't exist, so technically it is outside of the continent I live in, so yeah. And there you go, guys. That is all for my Reading Rush TBR. I'm really excited for this year. Let me know down in the comments below which books you're planning on reading for the Reading Rush. And it starts tomorrow, so I am so excited to get started with the video challenges. I will try to participate in the video challenges, but honestly I don't like the fact that they released the video challenge prompts the date that it's due. Like, they give you 24 hours to get the video up. I don't like that because I feel like it doesn't give me enough time to prepare, and also I work during the day, so I have to go home, and usually I'm really tired. I don't feel like filming, and so I will try to participate in the video challenges, but I can't promise anything. I will at least do one video challenge. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads if you'd like to follow me on those platforms. Hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day, guys, and keep reading. Bye.